Hi everyone, my name is Anil. In this video, we'll talk about normalization data services plugin. The main use case for this plugin is if you are loading data from different sources, especially with vendor and manufacturer names or company names, the names may be different for the same company from different sources. So this plugin helps you download a standard set of names along with the mappings that contain the possible names for the company to the actual normalized name. We will see how to enable the plugin and how to do the setup. The plugin name is Normalization Data Services Client. So this is the plugin you have to enable. It's already installed. So once you install this plugin, it uh, it creates an application menu and then the modules. So under that there is a guided setup. Just click on that. So it starts from the first step, which is to activate the plugin and so on. After that, the next step is to download normalized data. So what it does in this step is when you click on this download button, it basically downloads all the vendor names and the mappings. So it looks something like this. So for example, if you look at Oracle as a name, then you will see that there's only one name for Oracle. That's a normalized name. But then if you see the mapping, you will see that it has a lot of variations, as you can see here. So it basically creates a mapping between discovered name and the normalized name, and then it also downloads the normalized company names. So those two things happen when you click on start download. The next step is to update reference qualifiers. Now we discussed that the main use case is to ensure that the company references point to the right normalized value. So to do that, we have to update the reference qualifiers. So now it will show you all the places where company is referenced, and it will try to update it as well. So you can click on start update to update, but you can also see if you want to remove some of them, then you can do it, right? So it's going to start updating references in all these places, and then if it cannot update some of them, then you can manually do it, right? So what I've observed is that in some cases it cannot update the reference qualifier, in which you can manually do it, right? So once you click on start update, it uh, kicks in the process, and then it will try to update the reference qualifiers. So this usually takes a little bit of time, so you can you know initiate the process and then wait for some time. All right, so once the system attempts to update the reference qualifiers, it will also tell you like what it could not update. As you can see here, it has skipped a lot of them. So let's look at one table, let's say business application, and see if it was able to do it. um, so let's do a show matching on this. So yeah, it was not able to do the company and the vendor. So let's say we want to update the vendor reference. Let's open this record and I'll show you how to update the qualifier manually. So here, click on, so this is vendor is true, right? So we want to change this, but again, this is a inherited field, so you can only change at the parent level. Just click on that, and it should take you to the parent level where you can update it. So here in the reference qualification, you can say add filter condition and say in addition to vendor tree, you can also say normalized is true. That way you're limiting the records only to normalized values. So that's how you manually update the reference qualifiers for which the system could not do. So that completes that step. So you can mark it as complete. The next is the properties. So here you will see the various properties which are available as part of this uh, configuration. Alright, so yeah, so once this reference qualifier update is complete, the next step is to uh, review the properties that get added as part of this plugin. So let's click on this, and then you can see that there are multiple properties which are available. Reference qualifiers on all tables that reference company will be updated to use normalized field. So you can select it as true. Enable business rule that automatically normalizes manufacturer name for the configuration items. Uh, so this one ensures that it normalizes the manufacturer names for CIs except for the ones done by discovery. So yeah, so again this can be enabled because it will ensure that the manufacturer names are normalized, right? So just enable it. The next one is enable discovery to use normalization service for manufacturer name. So this is something which you can enable or disable depending on whether you want this feature to be part of your discovery, right? And then same applies to this one. So this property is to enable or disable the normalization API, right? You can enable it, and then the next one is normalize existing canonical core company records. So if you have any records in the company table which are not downloaded by the this process or which are pre-existing, then you can see if those will be normalized as well, right? So yeah, you can save it. So that's the properties part. The next one is to do the configuration item, normalize configuration items. So click on that. So what this step does is it uh, changes the reference in the manufacturer to the normalized name. So basically until now what we have done is we have done all the prerequisites and now we are actually touching the data, right? So click on start update. Yeah, that should take care of updating the data. And then the next one is normalize CI model. Uh, so in the model table, it will try to normalize the manufacturer name, right? So that's the setup part. Now we can mark it as complete because we have finished all the steps. Uh, then now we can look at some data to see how the normalization is, how the data is present. So we can look at CMBBCI list uh, and then try to group by on the manufacturer to see if there are any duplicates there or like non-normalized values are there. You can check that. So I'm looking at the product models table. As you can see here, it's referring to a unique like a normalized value for Oracle. So that's what we have seen in the mappings also and in the company names also, right? So we have the mapping available and now the product models are referring to the right normalized value for this manufacturer. So similarly, we will try to look for CIs also to see if anything is present. So as you can see here, even the CIs are also pointing to a normalized value of the manufacturer. So this is how you see the results of the plugin, right? So the first step is to activate it. The next is to go through the guided setup, do the required configuration. And once you do all the configuration, you will see that the data gets updated automatically. Thank you.